Hello gamers and gamerettes! Welcome to the podcast special edition. We're here to talk about the most important thing to me right now, and to you if you're watching this. The Mario movie coming out April 5th.
That's tomorrow. Just kidding. Well, I don't know when this video is coming out.
I don't know when it'll be when it comes out. I plan to release this 3 days before it comes out.
That's in 3 days.
We got a lot of stuff we're going to cover here that you might want to see before you watch the movie. We're going to talk about our predictions. We're going to talk about our expectations. Are we optimistic? How excited are we? Our plans. Maybe stuff you could do. Including, I have made a sort of a skeleton for you to make your own bingo card for the movie, if you'd like. It's a template of sorts. Just because I know there are so many wild theories out there about what could be in this movie.
You made a bingo card.
It could be fun to predict and see what comes true. So let's start this off
with a bang. The beginning. With a banger.
Well, just a general introduction, Jason. How excited would you say you are for this movie?
On what scale?
Let's do classic 1 to 10.
Okay. Are you familiar with E, the natural number? I'm just kidding. That would be pretty low.
That's not very exciting.
That's 2.8 or something, right?
Yeah. The sad thing is all the special numbers are too low.
Exactly. I want to say even tau.
You want to be a nerd and be excited for the Mario movie.
Exactly. No, I don't know. I feel like I can't rate it. It's kind of weird. I feel like I'm excited, but like at the same time, it doesn't feel special after movies like Sonic the Hedgehog animated movie, and like Detective Pikachu. Now that it's like a little bit more mainstream, it doesn't feel quite as like
it doesn't feel
exciting. Like it doesn't feel new necessarily.
It doesn't feel like they're trying to do that thing. It's like the first good video game
exactly. I guess the stakes aren't as high, so it's not that I'm not excited, but it's not quite as like.
It definitely feels different, though, than all the other, it's the first video game movie that looks like what I would imagine a video game movie would look like if you proposed the idea before it sort of became popular. Like, I would expect it to be all animated. All these other ones have been mixed live-action animated, you know?
That's true. Well, I think the Sonic movie is weird with the human characters.
But I'm very excited. But I don't want to say 10 because I'm almost like nervous excited, you know? I don't know what it's going to be like, and I've been avoiding spoilers and everything, so I don't even know 100% what to expect. Which is my second question. Are you optimistic? How optimistic are you 1 to 10 on this movie?
Well, again, it's not particularly innovative at this point. I'm sure they're going to try to innovate with certain things, but at this point, it's not something that I feel they can go terribly wrong with. And I know no matter what, it's definitely going to be a commercial success. It's going to become like a huge meme no matter what. Like it's going to be a phenomenon because it's a pretty big thing. So I'm not particularly worried in that sense. Now, as far as if it lives up to what I would want as far as its storytelling, like the animation is not going to disappoint, obviously. The storytelling, I just have to wait to see it because I could have expectations, but it's not like necessarily my expectations are the only good way of doing the movie. There's many different things directions they could take it, and it'd still be good. So I think I have yet to see. I'm hesitant to form expectations, but I'm optimistic in the sense that I feel like it's going to be hard for them to get it objectively wrong.
Yeah. I've just, throughout the whole process of the trailers and hearing stuff from the actors and the people writing it, and Miyamoto and everything, I'm just glad that they seem like they have a competent sense of direction with the movie, and that they seem very acquainted with the source material. Obviously Miyamoto is, but everyone else working on it too. Even Chris Pratt has come out in interviews now and flexed some Mario knowledge as if to compensate for his Koopa's remarks.
I saw that same clip.
You know, in the original game, back from 1980 something, the Mario Brothers game, they went and saved the princess. I'm sorry, Mario, but your princess is another castle. It wasn't even Princess Peach until a few iterations later in the game, and by that point, Peach was a character that it was an avatar that the player could use, and so rather than her being like this damsel in distress, they thought it was a little more forward thinking to have her be a pretty cool and heroic character in her own right.
And Nintendo trained him so that he doesn't make
back in the original Super Mario Bros. What was it, 1988? Princess Peach gets captured and they take her castle to castle, and
yeah.
Yeah, he was saying something like that. He finally learned what Mario is.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit late, but...
and they were talking about how their kids are, like, fans of the Nintendo games, how they reacted. I think it's pretty cool to see how excited all the actors are about it, and how much Miyamoto seems excited for it. Speaking of the actors, I always find it interesting, especially looking back on it now, that the first, you got rid of the glare, that the first thing we saw about this movie, before we saw any clip of anything, not even a poster, not even a still frame, the first thing we got was the actors. And that was our initial reaction to all of it. How did you react, like, compared to everyone else? Because everyone else, Chris Pratt was the first thing, because he's Mario. And everyone lost their minds at that. And then they, like, came back into it when Jack Black was announced as Bowser. Were you more neutral?
About the actors themselves, or about them announcing the actors first?
Either. Give me your thoughts on both. Why don't you?
To me, it was a Miyamoto. It was a classic Miyamoto move.
It is.
It's just so bizarre. Like I mean, I guess for like a live action, like normal movie, like with real actors, it makes sense to like. You always see movies like advertised with the star actors, the prominent actors.
That's the thing they put on all the
so
posters.
Like it makes sense, but it was such a weird thing, especially when you imagine the movie. It's animated, so it's not like there's really actors. There's voice actors, but not actors. They're not like the image of the film. But B, it's about fictional characters, and it's supposed to be like a Mario-centric movie, not just like some kind of original story. So it's kind of weird to make the first thing about it about real life humans, real voice actors. But so it kind of threw me off. But I think it's just like a weird Miyamoto strategy. I think he's just being quirky again.
Yeah, the thing I liked is how they talked about it, like, oh, we're revealing the cast now, as if it was established that they were doing this whole thing with the all-star, like, celebrity cast, like, from the get-go.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't even need to explain it. When in reality, everyone was like, why not Charles Martinet? Was their, like, go-to.
Yeah.
And, of course, all the other in-game voice actors for all the other characters. I told you why that probably wouldn't work for a lot of people. For one, I know people don't want to hear Toad's in-game voice talking the whole movie.
Yeah. I don't want to hear Toad ever. They need...
I actually
hate
don't
Toad's
know if
voice.
they have Toad speaking full sentences in Nintendo World, actually, in the real voice. You know about that?
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, they found it tolerable enough for that, at least. But Bowser, I don't know if I told you this, but Bowser's voice actor, it actually causes him considerable pain to do the voice.
Yeah, you told me.
He, doing the voice lines for Meowser, the cat form from 3D World, final boss, he actually started coughing up blood.
Yeah, you told me. I don't know if I believe that. No, I believe that.
If you can trust them. Yeah.
Yeah, if you do that for 2 hours, you'll probably die.
Like, I always imagined that he just does, like, heavy, like, audio effects to, like, a normal guy's voice. Because, like, Yoshi, like, people can do, like, a Yoshi voice. But Yoshi's, yeah. But Yoshi's actual voice is just a guy, like, saying Yoshi, and then it's sped up. You know?
Yoshi. Nya.
Yoshi.
Nya.
Yum. But, yeah, it's like that kind of thing. And so it's kind of funny to think that he can do that so authentically. It's really impressive, but it would be absolutely detrimental if he would do a whole movie.
Because
either to the production
the
timeline
characters
or to him.
Need to be able to actually say English words or real human words of any language, and some of the characters in the games do not do that normally. So
Bowser has only said, like, select keywords like Mario. in his actual Bowser game voice.
Super Mario Sunshine.
Oh yeah. Well, no, people aren't a particularly big fan of that voice. It's a bit goofy, like a lot of things in that game. But when I heard it, I actually, because I sort of had like a two-step thought process when I saw Chris Pratt as Mario first up. My first thought was, oh my goodness, that's so crazy. And two is, then again, who else would they pick? Because I couldn't think of anyone really better. There aren't many voice actors besides Charles Martinet I could imagine.
I always
Mario.
go back to what's his name? Emmett from the Lego Movie.
Yes.
He's like,
that's what I was gonna say.
And Emmett in the Lego Movie is the default character. Like he's the default. And Chris Pratt, his voice, something about it, he's just so good at being the default. And Mario being like the main character, but also like I guess like
he's like the
like an ordinary plumber who gets thrust into the Mushroom Kingdom kind of thing. I guess it maybe makes sense that he's like the default kind of voice thing going on.
Yeah, because Chris Pratt, he's always played like default characters, kind of like sort of oblivious sounding characters too, which Mario has been like shown to be like sort of gullible and stuff before. That was like, I remember that line from that King Boo says at the end of Luigi's Mansion. What do they feed you plumbers? Gullible soup? Because, you know, they're always like stumbling into stuff, like traps and stuff set by Bowser and whatever the antagonist of the game is. And they seem kind of happy-go-lucky in that sense. But and also, you know, Chris Pratt, he plays sort of like a hard-working personality type guy. Like in Jurassic Park, he's just like this random... Like, he's a more rugged worker type guy. And what is it, the second movie? You just see him, he's building a house is his introduction. You know? And that's Mario. He's a blue-collared worker type fella.
He's actually a red-collared worker.
Well, yeah.
But he's a blue overall.
Yeah, he has a collar now. His shirt actually has a collar on it.
He was blue-collar at first, but then they made him red-collar.
Yeah, that's true. He literally, they switched the colors. That was actually an interesting thing.
And Luigi used to be white-collar, though. So,
oh my goodness, yes.
What's going on there?
That is crazy to think about it. Because I can get into this more later because I'm still going to talk about.
About the socioeconomics of America.
No.
Oh, my fault.
I was wondering what like details that are more of like an aspect of what do they call it? System limitations, products of the time. They might actually carry over and put in the movie. Like, because a lot of material almost treats it like Mario's outfit canonically was. I know it's not an important detail, but like it actually was blue shirt, red overalls.
He's gonna be pressed about this.
Art still doesn't.
If there's not a single 8-bit Mario sprite cameo in the movie, he's gonna be so sad. Is that on your bingo card? That would be a good bingo card.
It should be on the bingo card, yes.
But there's got to be an 8-bit Mario in there. I was just wondering if
they'd do anything like that. Where they'd at least like reference things that were in the game that aren't really like paid attention to because they just so happen to be that way.
I think there's going to be a lot of references.
Yeah, oh dude,
knowing how close Miyamoto worked with them, I think it's going to be packed.
Dude, they went crazy with the references. Like there was I have
You say it like you already watched it.
No, because people have been dissecting the trailers. There was this one scene where have you seen the trailer yet where it's just a clip of Mario looking through a sewer and it's the pipe that leads into the Mushroom Kingdom?
No, maybe.
Because here's the thing. They already have an 8-bit Mario reference. The bricks exposing the pipes in that scene are broken out in the shape of...
Oh, I saw that. I saw that. Yeah, I did see that.
Yes, and the way it's framed in like the scene, it doesn't like pop out as blatantly obvious. So you actually feel really cool for spotting it.
Okay, so it shouldn't be on your bingo card because it's already confirmed.
Yes, to an extent. They could do a maybe more direct reference. But Chris Pratt, people made memes trying to find every connection they could. Like they were saying like, oh, Chris Pratt plays Star-Lord, he travels through space. Mario travels through space in Mario Galaxy. He trains dinosaurs in Jurassic Park. Mario has a pet dinosaur, Yoshi. And the craziest one I saw was people were talking about how, as Star-Lord in Guardians of the Galaxy, he dual wields blasters, And that's his weapon of choice in the Mario and Rabbids games, too. Like, that's just so
People-
weird.
People,
But
people will
it's kinda
pretend
true.
that anything is intentional. This is like Matt Pat game theory levels of.
Yeah, I know. But
In as Star-Lord in Guardians of the Galaxy, he has like dual wielded weapons, and in Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, Mario has like arm cannons. So like that was on purpose. That's why they picked Chris Pratt. That's like why they picked.
But
him.
of course, Chris Pratt is just sort of like he's slowly being typecasted as like the generic hero type, and that just fits for Mario too. Of course, they had actors in the past who could do like more of a sort of Italian plumber-esque character, like Bob Hoskins, who played Mario in the old Mario movie. He's actually British, but he does a convincing.
I would not have
serious.
guessed.
I saw interviews with him talking about the movie, and he has a British accent.
Well, I said, what's your next film? I'm doing Super Mario Brothers. Oh, that's the game. Oh, what? Yeah, here. And this is you. And I saw this thing jumping up and down.
But he does a convincing, like, Brooklyn-style accent, and he looks like a sort of portly Mario-type character, you know? Charlie Day, who's playing Luigi, he has that sort of accent, too, subtly. And he has this, like, you know, zany, sort of wacky, like, nervous-sounding voice that is perfect for Luigi. Everyone was on board with him, too. But, yeah, I that was the thing where I was saying, I don't know if you could get anyone who perfectly has, who's in, like, the voice acting industry, who has that perfect Mario voice. But the other day I was thinking, actually, and I was watching Everybody Loves Raymond. And I was like, what if they got Ray Romano to do the voice? Because he's got the accent, you know? But he sounds way too boring, you know? He's kind of a mundane type voice. And he does voice acting in the Ice Age.
Ray Romano.
That's my character!
That leads me to the main complaint people continually had with Chris Pratt was that he sounded uninterested in the role. Because I said he would sound boring. Because a lot of people early on, they were like, Chris Pratt does not sound like he's having fun voicing Mario.
It's a me, a Mario.
You heard those, right?
Yeah. But I mean, people just didn't like the choice, so they were gonna say anything about him.
Generally, yeah. I think they were originally against it regardless. But I saw where they were coming from when there was that scene in like where it's Mario going through Peach's training, and he gets hit with the bullet bill and he's flying across the screen. And Chris Pratt gives the most like goofy voice-over-esque scream ever. He's not like, ah! He's like, whoa! You know? And I think I literally texted you on Discord or messaged you, and I was like, Chris Pratt does not know how to scream. Because you've seen the things comparing like the French voice actor, right?
Yeah.
The French voice actor nailed that scream. He was like, ah! It was like so good. And I was like, why can't Chris Pratt
Yeah, you
do
nailed
that?
it too.
I'm trying to keep quiet. I'm obviously not putting my full soul into it.
Oh.
But
Well then,
here's the thing.
who even knows what you'd be capable of? That was already
Oh
good.
yeah, I should be a voice actor.
That's crazy.
Get me to do Mario. But have you heard? They've been showing new clippets, and they've been redoing the voice work. So it's almost like they heard people's complaints, and they're trying to do better performances. Like another one they complained about was Chris Pratt's woohoo during the Mario Kart scene. You know that one?
Yeah, I've seen.
There's a new recording.
Yeah, I've seen that. People were talking about that it was
from
updated.
Woohoo! Like the most generic Mario impression is something more enthusiastic, like woohoo! 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 Like it actually. Oh, dude, I meant to show you. There's this one clip in the trailer that this is a random scene to point out, but there's a brief trailer where Bowser's looming over like a grand piano talking to Kamek, and it switches to Mario for 1 second and he's jumping, and Chris Pratt gives a woohoo! And it sounds exactly like Charles Martinet. Like, it's perfect. And I have no idea how he even did it.
Maybe it is Charles Martinet. Maybe that's what they meant by featuring him. Some of the voice clips are just randomly interjected with Charles Martinet's voice.
They randomly interject Charles Martinet. I'm glad Chris Pratt has grown on people because, like I said, I was immediately, at least comparatively, thinking about all options on board with it. And especially now that I've heard the new voice lines, I'm very on board with it. I have an unpopular opinion, though. I actually am not the biggest fan of Jack Black as Bowser. and that's everyone's favorite. Is Jack Black as Bowser.
Why?
And I do think it's good overall. He sounds like just intimidating enough of a villain, but not like so. Because Mario's kind of a goofy world. Bowser isn't like the end-all be-all villain. There's been worse ones.
I don't think you can make the argument that Jack Black is worse than Chris Pratt in terms of casting.
Oh yeah, no. But again, like they didn't have that many options.
But
for
you
Mario.
said he's
And
not your favorite, so then who does he beat?
Here's the thing,
Or
because
who
I'm
has
actually
beaten?
I'm doing what people did with Chris Pratt, where they were skeptical, so they looked at his actual performance. I was skeptical of everyone, regardless. So I looked at the performance, and just like Chris Pratt, I feel like he's gotten better. But if you look at those original trailers, especially like his "Who's Gonna Stop Me" from the first one, it literally just sounds like Jack Black. Like the people were saying it just sounds like Chris Pratt, it literally just sounds like Jack Black.
Who's gonna stop me?
Yeah, but I mean,
Like,
I
feel
think
like
that's
his-
probably what he was told to do, honestly.
Yeah, but no, in the newer ones,
No.
he's got a much more defined Bowser voice.
Yeah, I agree. But I think he's probably just following orders, honestly. I think that's the problem. I think at first
I think all of them are.
I mean, just considering the fact that their first way of introducing the film was the voice actors, I think they wanted the voices to be very recognizable as part of the marketing strategy of it. And then I think they realized that people didn't want that, and so now they're trying to move away from that a bit.
I was gonna say, I had summed this up before in my head. I think Charlie Day is a good voice pick, and is doing good voice work. I feel like Bowser is a good voice pick, but at least early on, I didn't think he was putting as much effort into his voice as I could have expected him to. And that's the other thing I feel about like the voice actor for Princess Peach. She just sounds like she's doing a pretty generic voice, but I don't hold her against it because Princess Peach doesn't have like a super iconic voice, you know? Chris Pratt, I really have to hand it to him. This is the one thing I'm going back to him on. He is definitely trying to put enthusiasm into his voice now in the later clips. But here's the thing. I don't know why no one's talking about Keegan-Michael Kee's Toad. I love his Toad voice.
Oh yeah, it is really good.
And it's been good since day one.
It's
But
better
no one's
than
talking about it.
again, it's better than the actual
He's
in-game
the
Toad
goat
voice.
of the cast. Exactly. I literally think he should replace Toad as a character in the games.
I actually do think he does a really great voice, and I actually wouldn't mind
Genuine.
that being the canonical voice of Toad compared to his normal voice. That's so annoying. I
know,
definitely
I'm
agree.
totally on board.
I think he
I
might
would
be
not
the
say it's
strongest
anyone
voice performance of the whole cast so far.
Yeah. And that's why I have
Donkey
no idea why no
Kong's
one's bringing it up.
Donkey Kong's not bad. I think considering that he's like doesn't even speak normally, he just goes.
Oh yeah, dude.
I think Seth Rogen's
I don't know
pretty
why I
good.
glossed over Seth Rogen. I forgot him. The first thing I thought when I saw fixing my mask. Yeah, things are falling down here. The first thing I thought when I saw his reveal, before I even like registered Seth Rogen, I was like, oh, Donkey Kong's gonna be speaking. Oh dang, because he says a few lines in some of his games, but typically he doesn't speak. But then as soon as I registered Seth Rogen, I was like, you know what? Seth Rogen does fit for Donkey Kong. Like, I think that's a good pick, like, really well. And we haven't heard too many lines from him, but it sounds like good delivery, too.
Now, you've been dominating this conversation for the past 20 minutes. The first thing I'd like to do now that you passed me the baton is apologize because I just realized that I had my notepad document with some notes of literally actually 2 lines. I actually had it pulled up over your face for like a solid 7 or 8 minutes. And I'm just recording the screen, so now my notepad document is just going to be covering your face for a little bit. But
And I could have had my own recording going as backup.
yeah, but it's
no,
okay.
you told
It's
me not
okay
to.
because now it's a podcast funny moments.
Bro,
right?
I can't believe it. I went to all this effort to appear in person,
Right?
while still disguised.
Right, but now
and
it's-
you disguised my disguise.
But now it's a funny moments.
True. Well, let's
Okay,
go
okay,
from
okay.
funny to on topic. What were you gonna say?
Let me just pose 2 things so you can chew on them because you're probably gonna like run with it for the next until the end. So the first thing is Chris Pratt described the movie as when I think it was the same interview where he was talking about in the games Mario goes castle to castle saving the princess, she's the damsel in distress. In this movie, Mario and the princess team up to save his brother Luigi. So he directly described the entire plot of the movie, basically generalized it. He felt confident in generalizing it down to simply Mario and Princess Peach save Luigi.
Yeah, I
So,
know.
and I briefly mentioned that to you, but I didn't know if you wanted to expand on that. Since,
Because you know that's a sore spot for me.
what happened was that I admit that in the podcast when we talked about it, I was hesitant to believe that would be all
Yeah,
that
you
the
thought
movie
I was doing like I did with Pikmin 4. Where
I thought you were
overly
being pessimistic, but then I saw that, and now I'm scared. I am a little scared that they're going to undercut Luigi a bit. The second thing, though, I saw this morning on Twitter, it was some article with Charlie Day saying that he wants a Luigi's Mansion movie. I don't know if you've seen that.
Dude.
Okay.
People won't shut up about like a Nintendo Cinematic Universe.
Is very promising as to like what we could expect over the next 10 years, like an entire universe of these types of movies.
There's the two things I was going to put out there. So, all I was going to say is, yeah, I guess I'm a little bit more pessimistic now because now that Chris Pratt has said that, I do think maybe the movie is. I mean, it's cool that they're giving Peach more character than just the damsel in distress, but then it's unfortunate that they had to pick somebody else to fill that role, so now they're just going to give it to Luigi and then give him the short end of the stick. Yes, but I don't like believing you, so I didn't want to. Well, I also didn't want to believe you. I was holding out hope.
I'm just going to repeat it here for anyone who didn't hear it. It was that I really hoped that they didn't come away from like audience reception over the past years thinking, oh, we shouldn't make female damsel in distress characters. They're boring. No, any character that is just a damsel in distress is boring. Why do you have to delegate that to Luigi? It doesn't make it any better. That was my whole point.
Yeah.
Because it's like now...
Well, and I agreed with that. I was just really hoping that wasn't what they were going to do. But I was unfortunately proven wrong.
And
or so it seems.
I
don't know. Maybe there could be there could be a major curveball, but it's seeming like opposite Luigi's Mansion right now.
Yeah, I know. Well, here's the thing, because the alternative origin story for the Mario Brothers has always been the one in Yoshi's Island, where they were born in the Mushroom Kingdom, and they met the Yoshis as babies, and went on an adventure all the way from that age. You know what I mean? And in that, Luigi is the one who's kidnapped.
Yeah.
And I wonder if they're trying to mix together origin stories. I also wondered, because I was talking about things that were more like products of the time and the technology that they might reference. Keep in mind, there was no simultaneous two-player in the original Super Mario.
I knew you were about to say that as soon as you said that.
I know.
They're implementing the idea that there was no simultaneous co-op by in the movie making it so that only Mario or Luigi can be on the screen individually at one time.
And there's also warp zones, so there's no set path through the game. Maybe in their head they were like, Luigi went straight to Bowser, paid the price for it, he didn't have the skills, and Mario's playing through it the traditional way on his own because that's how the game actually functions. But considering they threw in everything from all the games up to Mario Kart, like Mario Kart 8 even, they got like anti-gravity sections and all that. They do not seem to care about the continuity.
I'm not seeing any Mario Tennis in there.
Yeah. Dude, imagine they just have a side scene where they're playing tennis on like the princess's.
See, that would be
cool
though
court.
if they threw in something like that.
That would be, honestly, that'd be a cool reference. But so I am scared though, because I had reasoned about this in other ways too, about how maybe they're using this sort of synopsis as a way to hide further details about the movie. Maybe they're trying not to reveal anything. Maybe they rescue Luigi early on as like a first hurdle, and then he joins the cast, and then it's taking down Bowser the final time, you know? But I would hate
I can't help but believe that has to be the case. I mean, he has to at some point do something.
I know.
But
because here's the thing.
Question is how much of the movie he's going to be. Well, also, and I mean, what they've shown, it's going to be like he's almost on a bit of his own side quest. But from what they've shown of that side quest, it hasn't been very interesting. Like, it's mostly been him running away, yelling, getting a single mustache hair ripped off, and then being in a cage. So it hasn't been a very promising side quest so far. But now that you say it, I mean, he does, like, the fact that he gets, like, one-on-one with Bowser there, it does seem like he's got at least some action going on in some way in terms of his plot.
I can't help but feel like he's gonna like have some sort of like a gathering intel or like reasoning with Bowser side story. But that doesn't make sense because in the games, Bowser like notoriously does not care about Luigi at all. And if he's like so important to like the first interaction that he has with like the real world in the Mario lore, like I can't imagine you just forget someone after that, you know?
Yeah.
So it kind of feels like
I think the
non-canon.
problem is that we have literally no idea how the movie even begins. Like we have no idea what's gonna.
Well, they're plumbers in Brooklyn. Well, no, because even that, because they started off working for Foreman Spike, and then we don't know how they end up
That's what I'm
plumbers
saying.
after that.
We literally all the trailers have shown us is what seems to be probably part way, if not 3/4 of the way through the movie. Like I wouldn't be surprised if the Mario Kart sequence literally occurs at basically the climax, if not the falling action of the movie.
Dude, yeah.
So what they've shown us is like so little of the beginning that it's hard to know how anything that they've shown in the trailers is even going to get from the beginning to that point. So I have no idea.
It's funny because they've been showing so many trailers on TV now. Our mom, she's seen a bunch of them, and she said, "I feel like I've seen the whole movie now." But it's funny because we're saying the opposite thing. How we don't really see anything from it, and they are actually revealing more and more details with each trailer. But it's interesting because depending on how you look at it, depending on your expectations, it almost feels like we have seen the whole movie. Like you could extend these scenes and make a whole movie out of it, but we don't know, and we're kind of hoping it's not because we're hoping there's more meat to it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I feel about the trailers. It's what the trailers has kind of given us has just been kind of weird. Like it's
But I
it's
kinda
like
like
seems
that.
like a lot, but at the same time, it's like it's revealed nothing of value.
Yeah, but at the same time, I kind of like that because a lot of trailers in the past few years have been like going full, practically revealing spoilers in the trailer. You
Well, yeah,
know?
I definitely don't mind it.
There's definitely a compromise to be made.
I don't mind it, although I feel like by the final trailer, it was like, again, I'll say it again, the final trailer was like a rehash of all the other trailers. At that point,
Yeah.
it was just like, did you need a whole nother trailer? Like that didn't even introduce anything new. And then
Yeah,
I've
it's like
seen
they
a lot
added
of
little details.
a lot of the ads and like especially the short form ads on like social media advertising have just been like little animation tests basically. Like it's been little animation, like little short clips of Mario like jumping on a piranha plant or something, you know.
Yeah, exactly. They were just like, I'm really proud of these 5 seconds right here. Let's put those in the
Yeah,
trailer.
it's just been like cutesy little, like yeah, the animation looks great. But Luigi's Mansion movie, you got excited about that?
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Have you heard all of these rumors about like the Nintendo Cinematic Universe? All these movies they're gonna make.
No, that's stupid. That's not gonna happen.
Really early on, people were saying, "Why is there so much focus on Donkey Kong, Cranky Kong, all these Donkey Kong series characters? Why is there a Donkey Kong combat scene? Why is there all this whole lore to the world building?" And everyone was saying they're gonna make a follow-up Donkey Kong movie. And there are still people who like swear to it to this day.
No, they needed other supporting characters since they got rid of Luigi.
And because that's another one of Mario's origin stories too, is Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
Mushroom Kingdom.
They're trying to make this is like no, yeah, they're thinking about it backwards. This is the penultimate. This is like the Avengers Endgame where all the universes are combined. We're already there.
Exactly.
We're already at the end game or the Infinity War or whatever.
But and just lately, I can't believe you haven't heard this. There are news sites coming out saying Nintendo is officially going to be making a Legend of Zelda movie.
What?
And
What
every single
source?
one. That's the thing. Every single one I've seen says our trusted sources, like personal intel. And then one of them even had a link. The word personal sources, trusted intel, whatever it was like in a link. And I clicked on it, and it was like
4chan.
some sort of like disclaimer page about where they get their sources from. They didn't actually tell. And it's like they're trying to like imply that it's like, oh, we can't tell, we're not going to snitch because these are leaks or whatever. But like I have no reason to believe you. Because especially...
No, that's just bad
Nintendo.
Journalism.
You know Nintendo, they're so pessimistic with like business risks. They would not start making plans for another movie before they even see how this first one
No,
goes.
that's
way.
just clickbait, bad. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
sure
I'm
they're
telling you.
not respected.
It's like all those
publications.
articles I keep seeing about how they're going to make a season 3 of Gravity Falls. It's like... It's
That doesn't
kind of
even
thing.
make sense.
I know!
But
it's
neither
so
does
stupid.
the Legend of Zelda movie.
Fake news is rampant, and we talk about this on the podcast. Check it out.
Yeah, we actually talked
but we're talking about Mario now.
about online news that was fake. So go watch the podcast.
Yeah. Oh, you mentioned tweets though, just as crazy advertising stuff. That reminded me. You know that phenomenon where like Twitter just has so many posts on it that somebody ends up predicting something by accident?
Yeah.
Somebody predicted Chris Pratt being cast as Mario. I don't remember the statement.
That's a
but it was
pretty
something
easy
like,
guess, though. Honestly.
Yeah, no, it was like when the movie first came out or was first announced or was leaked, but the cast hadn't been announced yet. Everyone was like, somebody said something along the lines of like, everyone's excited for the Mario movie, but like watch Nintendo cast like Chris Pratt as Mario or something, and that was before it even happened. And they replied and they were like, oh my goodness, I predicted it. I know it's all happenstance, but like imagine being that guy.
That's honestly
You feel so
that's
cool.
honestly a softball guess, though. Like that's easy. It's honestly predictable. I mean, I guess the biggest question is between whether they were going to go with celebrity voice actors or not. But if they did, like, it's easy to imagine that Chris Pratt would be the pick for Mario.
Yeah.
The other one's
I love
not so much. Jack Black, that would be quite a good guess if you got that.
We were talking about Miyamoto-isms earlier. Still one of my favorites is Chris Pratt. He's so cool. I love it, in the translator's voice and everything.
They were trying to sell it so hard, man. I don't know why they thought. I guess I really think they just didn't think it could sell itself. The idea of a Mario movie.
Yeah.
Like maybe they thought like the older, like parents would be like, oh my son Billy loved the Lego movie with Chris Pratt, so I'm sure he'll love the Mayro with the Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if it was something like that.
There are complications if you were to bring in the whole game cast. But I definitely do think they could have done Charles Martinet. It might have just been a case where once they like dipped their toes in it for characters they had to, like Toad and Bowser, they were like, ooh, think of the possibilities. Charlie Day is Luigi, you know?
Think about the money.
Yeah, that too. But speaking of the voice actors and how their lines have gotten better, I was really skeptical of the quality of the voice acting at first. Because there was an interview with Charlie Day, speaking of him too, really early on when they were first announced, where he was talking about how they didn't even record the lines in the same rooms, which is usual like voice acting practice because it helps you like get in the scene. You know what I mean? Like all the characters in a scene speaking in the same room.
Yeah.
But also, they weren't even allowed to like see the full script for the movie. So they were like, I don't even know the context of my lines because Nintendo was like keeping everything secret.
You read through the whole script?
I know nothing.
For real?
I know nothing. I show up and they're like, you say this and you say that, and it's all very funny and good. And then I walk out and there's like two guys in overalls with like hammers that are like, don't you tell nobody nothing about this, Charlie.
Do you guys record it together, like in this? Chris Pratt is Mario,
Yes.
right?
Oh, we do not.
Don't.
No, we go in one at a time. And
Wow.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, how are you supposed to
That makes it
do
tough, yeah.
Yeah, but now, they're coming out in interviews and they're talking about the whole plot line and everything. And I think that's part of the reason why the voice lines have gotten better. They went back and redid them with context and in setting. So now they actually, have the better resources.
If you have to hand it to Nintendo for something, it's that you can see they do one project like this, and rather than releasing something and it not being perfect and then it's a learning curve, and they learn in the future, they just keep working on the same thing until it's perfect, and then by the time they've produced one product, they've already perfected the craft moving forward.
Yeah.
Which is
Miyamoto's.
Miyamoto's.
Which isn't a bad
It's
strategy.
Miyamoto's mantra. He always says if you release something, if you're like, what is it? If you're afraid to release something because it's not perfect,
A rushed
yet, then
game is forever bad. A delayed game is eventually good. But yeah, that's his philosophy, and I guess he applies it to movies too. This whole scenario about going back and redoing the voice lines and perfecting it, it reminds me, and especially with the voice lines where it was probably due to fan reception, it reminds me of them changing Sonic's design for the Sonic movie, remember?
Yeah, that was a given. I didn't even say it out loud because I was assumed we all were thinking it.
Which I like now that people are willing to take that input. And
yeah, I was gonna say. I wonder if that's a new kind of trend. Maybe that companies actually listen to their audience now.
It makes me wonder if we could have predicted and been more skeptical and then more vocal about this switch up with Luigi being the damsel in distress. if they could have changed that at least slightly in the story before now.
That's
on,
a pretty
'cause it's
big
been in
thing
production
though,
for a
because
while.
that the story writing is probably what comes
Yeah, I
first,
know.
and then when you have the screenplay already done, like that's a pretty big thing to redo.
But yeah, I do like the effort that they're putting into it. Now, I wanted to say this because there's a lot of rumors about who all is going to be in the movie, too. Because, like, there was that scene where there's a bunch of Yoshis running, and I saw, like, some clip where somebody pointed out that none of them were green, or at least Yoshi's color of green. They were like, oh, this is significant. That means they're just Yoshis, but they're not the Yoshi. He's going to be a character. He's going to be in the movie. And then people were like, oh, there's a Luma held captive in Bowser's Keep. That means Rosalina's going to be in it. And it's all this kind of stuff, you know? People questioning what kind of Kong characters might be in it. Because there's that whole scene with all the Kongs racing. And they're like, is Funky Kong going to be in it?
Well,
so
I think it would be cool. Feel like that's something they haven't been doing with their games as far as mashing up all their obscure characters or even just distant characters. So if they do that in the movie, that's a cool thing.
Because people are always saying like Nintendo throws away too many Mario characters. It'd be interesting to see, especially some really weird picks, which ones might get at least referenced in the movie, you know?
Yeah, my money is on Gino, and let's see. Who else can we get in there? We can get maybe... so Inkling and
King
Link,
Boo.
because they're in Mario Kart 8.
Bro.
So they're going to make a and the Animal Crossing villager, yeah. Let's see, Mii characters. That would be so weird, dude.
So I have two main things we're going to talk about before we finish this, which is just our questioning about where the plot's going with the whole Luigi thing. And then I was going to share my bingo template. But I was going to talk a little bit about like how this movie was revealed before it was revealed officially. Because do you remember back when the rumor was that they were making this movie with Sony Pictures?
Yeah.
And then they dropped out of it for some unknown reason. Seemingly, early sources made it sound like it was because it got leaked. But I think the Illumination one got leaked before it was officially announced, too. So it's almost like...
well, why would they work with Sony when they can work with Illumination, which is part of Universal, which is where they're building their theme park?
Exactly.
I think it may have been that the Sony leak was just wrong the whole time. That they were right about the movie, but wrong about Sony.
I think there were some official records or something. But there's another thing, too. There were some, like, inside information that basically made it sound like Nintendo picked Illumination just because they're really good at making high-quality animation on a low budget. So basically it was like a money-save move. Which I can imagine is their philosophy behind the old Mario movie, too. I told you how they just, like, pulled out people from, like, the weirdest corners. But, I mean, especially with Illumination, where they focus mostly on the quality of the animation itself, not always the story, because Miyamoto was going to be involved in the story, and other people were, too. Illumination does make good animation. So I honestly can't blame them. I think that was a pretty good choice. But I looked up, like, sort of like the staff for the movie. And I was surprised by some of the stuff I found. I don't know these names.
How much deeper are we about to go?
It was, the directors are Aaron Horvath and Michael Jelinek, which are most well known for working on Teen Titans Go. Which seems like
I thought I had heard that name. Horvath.
Yeah, and that seems like a weird sort of pick, but I mean, I guess it works. It's. I know a lot of people hate the actual show, but I heard the movie that they also directed was good. But then you have Brian Tyler was the composer. I know you said you love the music. I looked him up. He just
the
seems
music
like
is so fire.
He just seems kind of like generic movie music guy to me. He did, like, the Universal Pictures newer introduction music. He did, like, a bunch of Marvel movies, just a lot of, like, box office big names. He just
but I like
kinda...
it. They took the Mario theme and just made it generic cinematic music, but it's like camp in a way, you know? It's like
Yes, kind of.
I'm surprised
But
you
I was
actually
gonna-
understood what I meant by that.
It was. I was gonna tell you. Oh yeah, I understand camp, buddy.
Okay.
Look at me. Do I look like I understand camp? I understand camp.
Not really. I mean, unless that mask is camp. Is the mask camp?
It's very camp.
Okay, then there we go. But yeah, the music's kind of camp, but I like it. It's like camp. It's cool.
But you were asking me like, what else could they pick if not like a cinematic reworking of the main theme? Because I did say I thought it seemed a little bit goofy.
Yeah, because you went
try-hard.
do.
No. I literally came up with something shortly after I was talking with you about that. Literally, the old Mario movie, their trailer had "I've got the power."
Where are we? I got a feeling we're not in Brooklyn no more.
And it's peppy. It has
Oh
like
yeah,
a fast-paced...
we know exactly how that movie went, right?
It's not a bad pick for a trailer.
Yeah, but that kind of music works better for live action, I think.
I know, but you could have made a instrumental piece that had that pep, but also like called to like an adventure that was like exciting.
Oh well, I'm sure they're gonna have that music in there somewhere.
I know, but
they
I'm
just
saying
want
it
the
could
trailer
work-
music to sound all epic.
I know, but I'm saying epic trailer music is kind of overdone. You could have other options.
But it's camp.
It's camp. So
they went with the camp. Easy, it's a no-brainer.
But
I'm excited for the soundtrack. I think we just haven't heard much of it yet.
Here's someone I like who's on the cast is Ed. I don't know if it's pronounced Scudder or Scooter, but he has a weird sort of portfolio. He's the showrunner of Unikitty, which is a cartoon based off of that one throwaway character
There's
in
no
like, the
way.
Lego movie.
Yes, at the end. What?
What?
At the end of the Lego movie.
Yes.
We're from the planet Duplex.
Well, no,
We're
it's not
come
that
to
character.
destroy
It's
you.
the character they meet on.
Yeah,
Cloud
in the ship,
Cuckoo.
I know.
Yeah. But and I didn't know until recently, like actually before this though, still that it had its own show, but it does, and he's the showrunner on that. He's the creator of the YouTube series Dick Figures, which is a crude like sort of comedy show that is as crude as the name sounds.
I've never heard of that.
I've heard of it, but yes. But he's the head of story on the film, which I think has more to do with storyboarding. But why I think he's cool is because he's been like sharing updates on the movie on Twitter, including concept art and fan art. And I just think it's really cool that he's that enthusiastic about it and sharing those many details. Seems like a cool guy.
Faux show.
But here's the thing. I want to know, is it normal for the writer of a movie to not have a Wikipedia page?
Why not? Writers don't exactly get all the fame and fortune.
Well, shouldn't they? They make the main story and stuff.
We've been through this, man. This is your same deal with songwriters. You're like,
I know, but it's true.
Sorry, hold on. What song are you listening to? And do you actually know who wrote the song? Do you actually know who wrote, like, the lyrics to the song?
Okay, listen. I don't know how much I'm going to like the movie overall in every single aspect, but shout out to Matthew Fogel for writing it either way.
Shout out to Matthew Fogel, dude.
You deserve
Shout out
a
to
wiki
Matthew
page.
Fogel, dude.
You deserve a wiki page after this.
You deserve it, Fogel.
I was going to mention a few other things, because Jack Black kept alluding to Bowser having a singing part in the
Can you just write, like, a manifesto already? Like, you're going to talk about this thing forever.
I just find it funny, because it was a literal plot point, and I know this is...
Genuinely, what's going to happen after you watch the movie? After it comes out, you watch it. Your life is going to be void. It's going to be empty. You're going to have nothing to care about anymore. Like,
listen.
It's going to be over, dude. When
it
comes out, the world is going to come crashing
Mario
down.
Mix was that Bowser is tone deaf. So if I hear him sing, it's just going to be funny because I know it can't be canon if you in the extended Mario universe.
Oh,
that's all I was going to say.
Did you see the picture of Jack Black with the music?
What? No. What are you talking about?
Jack Black posted a picture with sheet music. It was like a selfie, but you could see on a table there was sheet music, and the title of the song was called Peaches. And somebody actually copied the notes and tried to transpose it. into
Oh, dude, that's
so
the
that they could
weirdest
play
leak
it.
ever.
Yeah.
That's the most high effort weird leak ever.
I mean, it's hardly even a leak because he knowingly posted the picture. But yeah, it's almost like a little teaser. But yeah, so there's that makes it sound like there will be like musical number kind of thing. Especially if Jack Black posted that, it makes it seem like he's studying that music because he's going to be singing something.
And that's making me wonder, though, because it would be especially weird if Bowser was the only one who got these. I'm wondering who else is going to sing anything. Is Chris Pratt going to sing?
Well,
I don't know if he has a particular good singing voice.
I think they ruined Peach's chance of singing because she's like too girl boss. It would be like out of character.
That is true. It would be too Disney princess-esque.
But otherwise, I would say she would be a good character, not just because she's a woman, but she just seems like a good character to sing.
That's my main thing about, I don't have a problem with Peach being a powerful character. I was actually going to talk, but I know you want to wrap this up. I can save it for later.
Bookmark it, put it in the manifesto.
Because Peach being a powerful character is canonical. Like, in the instruction booklet, she's described as, like, being, like, the only one who could counter Bowser's dark magic. So it makes sense. I just hope it doesn't come across as pandery, like you said, girl bossy. I'm not looking for that exactly.
Well, girl bossy, but not like girl bossy, you know?
Yeah,
like she can be girl bossy, but not in like a cringy way. Like not in like a, oh, we just discovered like new age feminism and we're gonna try to play to it as much as possible. Girl bossy, exactly. Like 2010 played out. Girl, it's almost like they failed in trying to liberate the roles of women, female characters in movies. They've just created a new stereotype that's somehow just as bad. Like, just let them be dynamic. Let them have let there be the option for women.
Let them just be characters.
Women characters can be whatever. Like, that's the goal, right? But now you just made it one extreme or the other. Either they're the damsel in distress, or they're like super girl bossy to the point where it feels unnatural. Or like cringy,
like
forced.
Are you sexist, or do you revolve all around women power?
It's just weird because like the whole point is to
with, like the two lanes.
The point is to make female characters more dynamic, which is good.
Exactly.
They should do that because it makes it more interesting to not have all female characters just be flat. But then you're sort of almost making them flat by you're not making them more dynamic. You're just trying to counter the stereotype by giving them a different stereotype. Yeah.
But I don't want to get too far into this because I don't want to be pessimistic before I even have any way of knowing. One of my main concerns is I just hope it doesn't seem like Princess Peach can and will defeat Bowser on her own, and Mario is just tagging along to make sure his brother doesn't die in the process. I really hope that's not the route they go with this. You know? Yeah. I want Mario to have some significance as the main character, and I also don't want him to feel like
I think it's going to be like Peach
tagging along.
I mean, based on what we've seen already, that's basically confirmed. But it's going to be like Peach kind of training Mario and getting him accustomed so that he can excel to the point where he's able to save them in partnership with everybody else. I think they're trying to make it like a collective heroism story rather than just Mario. It's like everybody working together.
Yeah, except Luigi, unfortunately.
Except Luigi, because he.
Yeah. Because then it would give off Super Show vibes. I would love that.
Princess Peach, damsel in distress, got moved to girl boss. This is where Luigi was. He was the girl boss. Now he's the damsel in distress.
Luigi, the girl boss.
They just switched roles.
Yeah. Because
Luigi is totally a girl boss normally, but.
Yeah. But because I didn't want them to focus too hard on that whole tutorial thing. Because I said I wanted it to be more authentic. Like, sort of, Mario is thrown into this world and isn't always prepared for everything. The thing that I've always liked about Mario is that it was this story. It was like people have described it as a fish out of water story, but I've always viewed it as sort of albeit more cheerful, sort of a fish out of water surrealist story. Think like Alice in Wonderland or
Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz. But when there's this part where the princess is training Mario, it's like they put a tutorial in the Mario movie. Specifically to represent the game in the series that at least needs a tutorial. The first level is a tutorial. And the whole like theming of it just feels wrong too, because as a movie that's that sort of genre, imagine if the good witch was like, here, I'm gonna teach you how to fight flying monkeys for like an entire plot point, and then you go. by the way, here's the secret to how to the Wizard of Oz. He's a man behind a curtain. All this stuff. And like, imagine if Alice in Wonderland, the first thing you do once she goes through the door after eating the mushroom, she immediately meets up with the Mad Hatter and the Cheshire Cat, and they're like, hey, we're gonna follow you around and help you along your journey. It's like, no, it's supposed to be a little chaotic. It's supposed to be this foreign world, but you have Mario thrown in. And the thing I always liked about Mario is because it was cool, because the modern day, a lot of heroes, especially in like fantasy settings, like, it's the chosen one. The prophecies have foretold of him.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't like that.
Mario's not the chosen one.
No, I like it because he is organically. His life, just as a normal person, has trained him for this. Think about it.
Well, he's a chosen one, but not because of any merit that makes him special.
Yeah, he's special because everyone is. It's super cool theming. They probably came up with this by mistake back in the day, but it's just super cool theming. Because think about it.
Yeah, let's just be clear. I don't think they had any of this in mind when they were making Super Mario Bros. For the NES.
But they can have it in mind now that they're making the movie. But think about it. He's an athletic Italian plumber who, while working on a plumbing job, falls into a fantasy world where people travel through pipes, and by hitting magic flying blocks that are perfectly within gymnastic jumping range, can collect pizza toppings that give you magic powers. Like, it's a fantasy land that was built around him, just enough that he already knows what to do, but still has to learn how to be a hero. It's like if we, because it's the brothers, started a game development company. And one day while we were writing
a segue!
We were writing our game engine, and we got sucked into the computer screen, and we entered this world where everyone travels through like command terminals. And there are these flying targets that you can kick hacky sacks at to get watermelon Kool-Aid that lets you fly. Like, that would be what this is like.
Let's just be clear. I would be the Mario there because you would not know a single command in the terminal.
Yes, you would be the Mario. I would be the plumber's apprentice. All I'm saying is they took away the sweet and cinematic serendipity of Mario being this plumber in this world of pipes and all this other stuff that sort of makes him interesting. Like, I've always felt like the reason why he works as a hero is because he's just this blue-collared everyman. He sees, oh, someone's in trouble, I'll help him. It's just another jump down. Yeah. So that tutorial scene never really jived with me. But again, I don't know how it's going to play out, so I'm trying not to be pessimistic.
I think it'll be fine. I think that scene is just like an action scene, so it's just another animation show off.
But I am also trying to acknowledge that we haven't seen too much about story quality. We've mostly seen positive stuff regarding the cleverness of them and their knowledge of the fan base.
You
like
have
the
to
rap and like all those details.
Yeah, you have
the
to.
The Mario Brothers rap, I love it.
We're the Mario Brothers, and plumbing's a game. We're not like the others who get all the fame.
You have to realize that the scenes that make it into a trailer are just whatever looks the most visually impressive, basically. And so that's going to give us the least in terms of story or anything really meaningful beyond just, oh, it looks cool. It looks like it's going to be cool. So that's why I feel like it's hard to really judge it at all based on the trailer, especially the trailers have been kind of like cryptic in some sense.
Yeah, in some ways.
So how is the movie going to fare after we see it? Well, only time will tell. Did you have something else to say?
Well, I didn't share the bingo card.
My outro.
I didn't share the bingo card.
Okay, we'll get on with it.
Without further ado,
is that it?
My bingo card.
Oh, your bingo card.
Okay.
Of course.
Here's my bingo card. Here's all the things. These aren't necessarily things I want or things I don't want. Some of them will sound like that, and they may very well be. But they're really just things that I realized could be possible and have a high enough likelihood to unlikelihood to be like something you could bet on one way or the other. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And if you want to make a short aside about any of these, let me know. Here's my candidates for a bingo card. The real world is set in modern day instead of the 80s.
Super Mario Brothers!
The Mario Bros are bad plumbers. I really hope that's not true, but I've seen more stuff that seems like it's not going to be. But I thought they might go for a goofy antics type thing where they're trying to learn to be plumbers instead of actually being skilled at it. The other one is Pauline is played by the game voice actor. Spike and or Pauline have like 5 minutes of screen time and or less than 10 lines of dialogue.
Guaranteed.
Luma B becomes recurring comic relief character.
100%.
Mario meets Yoshi earlier than canonically possible, i.e. Super Mario World. Bowser Jr. and or the Koopalings appear way too early, or alternatively are at least referenced in some way.
I don't think they will be.
Wario and or Waluigi cameo. Bonus. They're voiced by Charles Martinet.
No, that's actually that's gonna be my quickest.
I've heard a lot of people say that. Yeah.
Because before, I haven't heard anybody say that, but the second that they said Charles Martinet as cameos, I thought, if he's not voicing Mario, how is he gonna be a cameo in the movie? And
Some
then my
people have said
immediate
he
thought,
might be a narrator.
I kind of thought something like that as like, because that's like the only other thing that makes sense is like a non-character voice. But my immediate thought was, what's like the only cameo that would make sense and would be voiced by Charles Martinet? I was like, it doesn't make sense for Wario Waluigi to be like in the movie, really, other than just a reference, which would make sense because it would be kind of it would feel almost like leaving out a reference to not have them in there. So that was my first thought with that.
Okay, I was gonna say, one, Charles Martinet was the narrator in, I forget the name of that indie game where it's like a free runner.
I'm Charles Martinet, and now it's time for Bit Trip Presents Runner 2.
Two, he could do like a Stan Lee type thing where he just plays like a random background character in Brooklyn, and he just pops in. It's like, oh, that's Charles Martinet.
Yeah, I thought about that too, but that would be funnier if it was live action.
Interesting thing, though, you mentioned about Wario being in the movie. That is like one thing a lot of people seem to be looking for, because he is like the most prominent character that has not been revealed to be in there in some capacity. If you count Yoshi's as a species being in there, as ticking off the Yoshi box. But it's interesting because Wario's backstory, his reason for knowing Mario, at least according to Nintendo, is that they grew up as childhood friends who he had a rivalry with, which works against the origin story they're going with for this movie. So it'd be kind of interesting to see how they could even make that work. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't think they will. I don't think it's gonna really show up in any real way.
But then it is interesting to think that he's like the most prominent Mario character who won't be in the movie. But speaking of the next most prominent.
Oh, okay.
Continuing on the bingo card, Rosalina appeared.
There's a huge universe out there with a lot of galaxies.
Oh yeah.
But then I said, bonus for the Rosalina appears. Bonus, Daisy never does.
Well, they love Rosalina, so
exactly,
she has to.
They have favoritism.
They have to. Like, it's just their favorite character.
The next, Toadette is there.
Okay.
Egad shows up.
I'm hoping for that one. I'm actually hoping, and I think that might...
Huge gag.
Dude, how cool would that be if that was part of the side story with Luigi?
I told you, Egad is all over Mario.
Awesome.
Yeah. But, here's another thing, because this character is only mentioned in like really early Mario Bros. Media. And that's why I thought it'd be interesting if they even mentioned this in Super Mario Bros. Movie. The Mushroom King, Peach's father, is at least mentioned.
No. Too obscure.
Jason's not
but
buying it.
You saying that about Egad, I'm still thinking about that. That single-handedly has made me excited for it. Because now I'm just imagining us sitting there in the theater, and then some obscure character like pops up, like one of these wild predictions is true,
and it's us, and
we would just look at each other and be like,
oh, that was the other thing. We just to throw this out there before we end, we can't go premiere day because we won't be together. We're going the next day after. We considered dressing up as Mario and Luigi to go to the premiere.
I would if I was prepared. Like the best I got is a green. Actually, I don't even have a green shirt, so.
We don't have overalls. We don't have.
Can I share my bingo card really quick, or do you have a couple left?
Do you want me to finish mine?
Yeah,
first,
just speed round through that.
Okay. This one is kind of already confirmed, as I said, but something goes explicitly against canon, depending on how you define explicitly. Musical numbers. Those are again kind of a given now too. The 1993 Mario movie is referenced in any way.
Maybe.
Super Mario USA exclusive material is referenced in any way.
Maybe.
Like Wart or Phantos or
Maybe.
something. Super Mario Land exclusive material is referenced in any way. Birabuta Kingdom, Daisy, Sarasaland.
They left that in 1997.
Super Mario Sunshine centric material reference. I'm having trouble speaking. Flood. If that was in there, even just in the background as like on a poster or something, that would be kind of crazy.
If Egad is there, there's a higher chance.
Yes, definitely. Paper Mario series exclusive material reference.
Definitely, I think there could be one.
Mario and Luigi series exclusive material reference.
You know I hope for that.
Yes.
That would be
bonus, cool. Luigi has striped socks. alternate bonus,
Oh,
they do a bros move.
I would be... No, they should have striped socks because I feel like that's just
really
canon.
hope so.
Because the fact that they don't have striped socks normally, well, how do you know? You can't see their socks. So I actually think it's just canon that they always have striped socks.
But that's the thing. I want them to show it because
they will. They will.
This is a tangent, but I feel like I need to bring this up while it's still relevant. They redid the artwork for the re-release of the remake of Bowser's Inside Story. They censored Luigi's socks. They made his pant legs go over his socks.
I saw that. Yeah.
Why would they do that? Let us have the socks, Miyamoto. Why can't we see the socks?
Free the ankles, man.
Okay.
Okay.
Girl Boss Luigi.
Can I show my bingo card now?
Yeah, I'm not done, but you can go through yours.
Oh, how many are left? We gotta wrap this up.
I'm gonna blaze through them. Those were the last ones I was
blaze through them.
This was just a specific reference I wanted to see because I thought it would be weird. Karibo Shu is shown or mentioned in any capacity. One-ups are integrated / explained. Bonus, someone dies to show it off. Bonus, it's Luigi.
Definitely.
The movie attempts to merge Mario's other possible origin stories together. Mario meets Donkey Kong in Brooklyn. The movie attempts to explain the confusing Kong / Mario family history. Mario and Luigi's parents are revealed. Mario becomes hero by pure happenstance or convenient prophecy. Mario only agrees to be hero in order to help his brother. Oh yeah, that was another thing. I was going to go on to that real quick. I really hope Mario doesn't come across as the type of person who wouldn't have helped Princess Peach save her kingdom if his brother wasn't
like in the
involved.
Anime we watched? Yeah. Actually, it's the other way around.
Yeah, because at the ending it shows that he was thankful regardless. That's a good note for that. Hold on, I just lost my space.
You just lost MySpace? Okay. I just lost Facebook.
Same. A Lego movie-esque scene where everyone is like, really? He's the hero? Mario being human / from the real world is somehow relevant to Bowser's plan.
What row by column count is this?
It's in a text document.
So this isn't a 5x5 bingo board. This is just a list of things.
Yeah, these are candidates.
Dude, are you going to make an actual bingo board?
Yeah, I'm going to make a randomized program that makes one for both of us.
Okay, actually blaze through them then.
Okay, Bowser plans to marry Peach. Peach's light magic is shown. I kind of feel like I have to explain this.
What is light magic?
In old material, Bowser was said to be capable of using black magic. Peach used light magic. In more recent games, that dark magic aspect seemed to have just been replaced with chemic, Whereas Peach's seems to have been replaced with the power stars. I would like to see if that's the reason why Bowser now has the power to take over Peach's kingdom is because he got that power star. That's my prediction. I'm throwing that out there. Everything else, the Toads are transformed, like in the original one, to blocks and stuff. Bowser's flying castle becomes world forts. We were talking about this earlier, though. It travels around, makes each world's castle. Bowser is a sympathetic villain. Bonus is already befriended by the end. Bonus is not the final antagonist. That would be interesting. I don't think they're going to do it. Princess Peach is never kidnapped. Bonus, Luigi is captive until the end of the movie. Alternately, there is a shoehorned rescue equivalent. Like Princess Peach is standing below something and it falls down and Mario pulls her out of the way and she's like, oh, my hero. And 100%, that's the whole thing.
100%.
Alternative, Peach rescues herself.
Dude, this is like 70 things because you have alternatives for each of them.
The bridge and axe setup appears. Bonus, someone else puts the axe there. That is the last one with a bonus. No,
you have to explain that one, though, because that one's actually really cool.
Oh, yeah, we were talking about this. We really hope the Super Mario Bros. Scene where it's the bridge with the axe that cuts the chain is there as, like, at least a battle against Bowser, if not the final one. But the thing that I said would make it interesting, because that's like one of those classic Mariosms. It's like, why in the world is there an axe there to perfectly cut the chain? Well, a bridge could just be there to be intimidating over a lava fort. It's a moat to keep you away from the prisoner. The axe, Toad's carrying around tools, Princess Peach has that halberd. If one of them puts that there for Mario to use to cut the bridge, because they're captive in the other room, that would be awesome.
There's got to be a reason why she has a halberd. Like, that, even if that scene doesn't come true, where she, like, throws it at Mario, and Mario jumps and catches it and breaks it. Either way, even if there's nothing like that, I feel like it has to be a subtle reference to the fact that, like, his weakness is the axe in Super Mario Bros.
Yeah, exactly.
It's got to be a reference.
I'm really hoping I big-brained that, and I'm really trying to manifest it into existence because it just seems too perfect, you know?
See, this
Okay.
you need a Twitter, because if you tweeted something like that, it would probably come true, and then you'd be famous.
Oh, dude, you're right. But
I didn't think you'd
featured
react.
on the next episode of the podcast in a few weeks, no one will be able to see it unless I pay for Twitter.
True.
Okay, these are the last 4, no bonuses. Kamek makes Bowser big just because. Peach kisses Mario. Credits theme is a remix of a game's credits theme. And the final one, post-credits scene sets up another movie.
Has to be. Even if they don't pursue it, that's the classic.
Yeah.
That's the
At
classic.
least like a cliffhanger.
This is my bingo card.
It's going to be 3 things. Mario dies. Free Luigi.
So I think I have a pretty good... Because this goes along with your one-up.
Actually, no, you can't win that because there's not 5 spaces.
So, no, you only need all 3 for this.
Okay.
So Luigi has to be there in the movie. You get 1 free space, and then Mario dies. So a lot is riding on this one, but we're gonna have to see how that one turns out. But I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful.
Yeah, bro. I just want to see Luigi in there. I want to see Peach be treated like a dynamic, realistic character. And I want Mario to have a meaningful role in the plot. That's really what I'm looking for. And I'm very excited. Make your own bingo cards. Share your own thoughts in the comments. I would love to hear any input about this. This is the kind of stuff you can only do before the movie comes out. And then because you can say afterwards, oh, I predicted the axe thing. But if you don't say it beforehand, no one will believe you.
Yeah, this is just a digital log of the fact that we were right before we get, like, so we can prove it, you know?
And we are going to touch up, I do intend to have a part 2, just touching base on some of this afterwards.
On which things we were right about and how we're so smart.
So keep your eyes peeled because there's going to be that too. And further discussion in the comments of that video as well as this. Share everything you think. I'd love to hear
we'll
some
see
of it.
you on
This is
Tuesday.
your chance to make history, make predictions.
And we'll see you on Tuesday for the regular scheduled podcast as well.
Yes. See you all then. And
Thanks
happy watching.
You have to tell them, you're not good at this, you have to tell them to subscribe.
Well, I try not to be pushy, but feel free to subscribe.
We'll see you next time, fellas.
See you guys with more discussion, more podcasts.
And more
next
of
time.
us.
Goodbye. Okay, I'm going to go eat pizza now.
No way. I ate pizza.